Welcome to the Parsha Perspective. Each week, we will delve deep in a weekly Torah portion to find a practical and insightful way to enhance your daily life. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Rabbi Shalom Yamini, and each week we will look into the weekly Torah portion to find practical and insightful ways to enhance your daily life. This week's Parsha Perspectives in honor of our homeland, Eretz Yisrael. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu continue to protect our brave soldiers, and may He watch over every Jew wherever they may be. This week's Parsha Perspective is in loving memory of Baruch Chaim ben Mordechai, Edward ben Ephraim, Shlomo ben Edward, and Yerachmiel Daniel ben Gedalia. May their souls be uplifted, and may their memories be a blessing. This week's Parsha Perspective is in honor of the Refuah Shalema of Reuven ben Rachaleah, Biam ben Tova, Raphael ben Mazal, and Orna Basili. May they have a complete and speedy recovery. This week is a double Torah portion, Parshas Acharei Mos Kedoshim, Freedom Through Order. Our Parshas begin immediately following the death of Aaron's two sons, Nadav and Avihu. In the aftermath, Hashem commands Aaron HaKohen and his remaining sons not to enter the holiest Kedoshim, the holiest of holies, at will, warning that they do so could lead to the same fate as their brothers and son. Only Aaron HaKohen may enter on the holiest day of the year, Yom Kippur. The Torah then outlines the sacred Yom Kippur service performed by the Kohen Gadol, and this includes bringing the incense offering, the Ketores offering, into the holiest of holies, and casting lots over two goats, one designated for Hashem and the other sent to Azazel. Parshas Kedoshim opens with a powerful commandment: Kedoshim tiyu, ki kadosh ani Hashem Elokechem. You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. And this call is followed by a sweeping set of 51 commandments, 51 mitzvahs that shape both the personal and the communal life. Amongst the mitzvahs are tzedakah, charity, Shabbos, moral relationships, honesty in business, honoring parents, and protecting life. And these are not simple laws, they form the foundation of a life infused with holiness and purpose. Our Parsha includes one of the most well-known mitzvahs in the Torah, to love your fellow as yourself, which Rabbi Akiva famously describes as a cardinal principle of the entire Torah. However, a question comes to mind. In the second Aliyah, after outlining the sacred Yom Kippur service, the Torah introduces us a new mitzvah, a new commandment. No sacrifice, no korban may be brought outside the Mishkan and later in the Beis Hamikdash. Once the Mishkan was established, private korbanos, private offerings became forbidden for the Jewish nation. And this remained true once the Beis Hamikdash was built and established in Yerushalayim. Why does the Torah place this mitzvah specifically here, following the service of the holiest day of the year, Yom Kippur? What is it teaching us through this connection and through this placement in the Torah? The Ramban, Nachmanides, Rav Moshe ben Nachman, gives us a simple explanation. And on his commentary on the Torah, he writes that this was necessary because of how the Jewish people were living before. In Mitzrayim, in Egypt, there was a tendency to bring korbanos in different places. Moshe Rabbeinu did it. But sometimes, some Jews brought korbanos, brought offerings, sacrifices connected to idol worship, heaven forbid. And these sacrifices were a distortion, because they created the impression that there were multiple powers influencing the world instead of recognizing God's sovereignty over our world. So once the Mishkan was established, all korbanos, all offerings had to be brought in one place. And this was not only about where the korban was brought, but how it was understood. By requiring that all sacrifices, all korbanos, had to be brought in one place, the Torah removes any confusion and any possibility of division or diversion. And every act of service now is directed with clarity towards the Kadosh Baruch Hu, towards the King of all kings, the Master of the universe. However, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Elishneerson, gives us a deeper and more profound explanation. And he writes that the service, that the avodah of Yom Kippur represents the highest level of connection between a Jew and God. The Kohen Gadol enters the holiest of holies and performs the avodah in the most elevated setting. And it is a moment that stands above regular daily service and reveals a depth of closeness that is not normally experienced. Yet in this moment, everything must be done as commanded. The entire avodah follows a precise order. No room for deviation, no room for personal expression. The Torah emphasizes that Aaron performed the service not for his own elevation, but as one who fulfilled the king's decree, as God's will. And even at the highest level, the avodah, the service, is not defined by inspiration, but by complete alignment with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rebbe explains that this is why the Torah immediately commands that all korbanos, all sacrifices, must be brought in one location, in one place. A person may feel a strong desire to connect, but that desire does not defy the avodah, because true service is not created on one's own term. It is carried out exactly as God commanded it according to God's will. And the highest moments of connection must lead to the most structured form of service, where everything is aligned with God's will in one place, with no deviation, serving the Master of the universe, our Father in heaven. And this profound lesson from the Lubavitcher Rebbe is ever more relevant during Sfiras HaOmer, the 49 days between Pesach and Shavuos, where we count the Omer. These days are not defined by a single moment, but by a process that leads one to another. Each day builds towards Matan Torah, where true connection is not created through inspiration alone, but through consistent actions and avodah. And according to God's will, growth is not random. It is deliberate. Each step moves us closer to the purpose of creation and towards the ultimate redemption. In our daily life, it is imperative to realize that true freedom is found in structure. It's found in order. Without direction, freedom cannot last or grow. It is the structure we build that allows our lives to move forward with clarity and with purpose. And this what turns something of inspiration into something real and lasting. Real growth is not created in a single moment. It is built through consistency and is built through discipline. If freedom is to live, freedom is to continue, it must have a structure that allows it to grow. And this what ensures that what we build carries forward into the next generation and allows us to succeed beyond our imagination. There's a profound quote that I once read from Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs of blessed memory. The Torah teaches that true freedom is not absence of structure, but the result of it, where order gives us strength to endure. Have a great weekend and good Shabbos.
Thank you for tuning in to the Parsha Perspective. Check out our website, theparshaperspective.com. Send thoughts and comments to theparshaperspective@gmail.com. Till next time, thanks for listening.